What's up, everybody? It's Thegoal60 here for week 10 of the 2019 season. I can't believe we've already made it here. We're in double digits. It's going by so quick. I wish it would slow down a little bit. But either way, coming off a really good week last week. I went 7-3. Hopefully, we can keep that going. That was definitely my best week of the season, and I would love to repeat that or something similar to that this week. This week, Michael wasn't able to join. He's going to send me his picks. It'll be in the description below. But I've got 5 of them for you. Not a ton of games this week, just simply because there's a lot of teams that have their bye week this time. And we'll go over my 5 plays, and hopefully we can get some winners. All right, so first up, we've got the SEC. And by the way, this week, somehow I didn't plan this, but it turned out that I got one in each one of the Power 5 conferences. So we'll jump right in with the SEC, and I'm looking at Vanderbilt, South Carolina. SEC East game. Last week, South Carolina got beat. They got beat up pretty good by Tennessee, of all people. So this week, I could see them coming out and playing a little bit harder, but something happened. Something was wrong. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, coming off of beating Missouri a couple weeks ago, getting things done. I'm looking at them to kind of keep a little bit better consistency going. They've had an up and down year. And with that, this line's huge, 15.5 points. And I see Vanderbilt keeping this a little bit closer than that, maybe staying within 2 touchdowns. And that's what I'm going after. Vanderbilt plus 15.5 is my first play. Next up, we've got a game out in the Pac-12, and it's a game that I honestly think that the wrong team is favored. Now, do I think that the team that I'm going to be on should win this by 2 touchdowns? No. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a good game to watch, and that is UCLA and Colorado. Right now, everybody's on UCLA, and for good reason. They seem to be getting things going. They're playing as a team a little bit better. But I just feel like Colorado at home, they proved it last Friday night when they played USC. They played really good at home this season. And they've also, because of that being on Friday night, it's an extra day of rest, an extra day to work on things. This week, I've got on -1. That's far from the plus 6.5 that they're catching. And so, therefore, I'm going to take Colorado plus 6.5 here. Let's see if I'm right. For the third pick today, we're going to head to the Big 12. Now, this game is a big-time rivalry game. It's an in-state rivalry. And this year, we've got 2 teams coming in that are really playing above what me or most people thought. And that is in Kansas State and Kansas. Now, Kansas State coming off a big win against Oklahoma. Can they keep that momentum going? Do they catch a little hype this week with people coming in? They're 6-2, and they're people are just sitting there patting them on the back. They're telling them how good they are. Let's see if they can keep it going. I'm hoping not. Now on the other side, you've got Kansas, who had a scrappy game last week. Took a weird play, if you didn't see it, against Texas Tech, where they were tied up trying to kick a field goal to win the game. Texas Tech blocks the field goal, runs it a couple yards. The guy turns around. He's going to lateral it to one of his teammates, try to get some extra yards. I don't know why, really, because they're tied up. They could just go to overtime. Instead, nobody's there. Kansas jumps on the ball. They kick a field goal that was even easier than the one they tried. Get the field goal, win the game, they leave. So Kansas comes in this game on the opposite side of what Kansas State is after taking down Oklahoma. I just feel like this game's going to be a little bit closer than what it is. I think it's going to be a field goal or something of that nature type of finish. And we're catching 5.5 here, so therefore I'm taking the Mad Hatter and I'm taking the plus 5.5 points. That's my third play. So next up, we're heading up north where the weather's starting to get bad. It's starting to get really cold. The Big Ten this time of year starts playing some really close games. It gets, to me, exciting. I like watching these games. I like the old school defensive games where it's 14-10, 20-17, things like that. And we're going to look at a total. Now, last week we were on a total with one of these teams were involved, and we was also on the team, and that was Illinois. Last week they beat Purdue, and we were on plus 9.5. They're coming off 2 straight wins against Purdue and Wisconsin. They kept the total under. Part of that was because they only threw the ball for 26 total yards. So this week, I'm hoping they do something similar. I hope they just try to run the clock. I hope Rutgers tries to do the same. I'm looking at the under. Now, one thing that really stood out to me in this game is turnovers. In Power 5 games, Rutgers is -9 turnovers. Illinois is +8. That's how they won the last 2 weeks. They take care of the ball and they slow down the clock. And Rutgers can move the ball sometimes, and then they start turning it over when they get close to the end zone. So I'm hoping a lot of the same happens this week, and this game stays under 50.5. And that's the direction I'm going. Rutgers, Illinois, under 50.5. Next up, we're heading to the ACC to look at a big-time rivalry game. This used to be huge. This was, late 90s, early 2000s when both of these teams were really good at the same time. This game was huge, and everybody looked forward to it every single season. Right now, it's kind of an afterthought. It's not that big of a game nationally, but it still means a lot to both of these teams in recruiting, and just these guys played each other their entire lives. They've grown up against each other, hitting each other in the face, and they're going to continue it in college. And that is in Miami and Florida State. Now, we have a case here where Miami's coming off a win against Pittsburgh. That game, a couple years ago, Pittsburgh upset Miami right before Thanksgiving, last week of the season. That game just typically is very close. So it wasn't that big of a shock to see Pittsburgh lose to Miami last week, even at home, just because in my head that was whatever reason, every year they play that game close. This week, I really think Florida State gets the upper hand. I've got it projected out a little bit higher than the line. It's at -3, and therefore I'm taking Florida State -3. You look at them, and the first of the year, everybody was down on them. They kind of, skid underneath the radar right here. They come to this game playing a little bit better. They beat Syracuse last week, which a lot of people have this season. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, they've really got some things moving their way, got a little momentum. And I think they keep it going this week against a Miami team who's coming into town. And I think Florida State gets this win. Now, that's all 5 of my plays. Like I said, Michael's plays will be in the description below. He wasn't able to join. But I appreciate you watching this. We'll see you next week, and have a good weekend. Thanks. Good luck.
The time, it works every time.